doing today?
Good.
All right, it's good to see you. Glad to see that you're here, that you're ready to learn the true teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful Savior, I can never give enough thanks and praise to Almighty God Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, for raising in our midst our true, beloved leader and teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
To Allah and His last and greatest messenger do I submit, and I greet you once more with the true greetings of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Once again, we thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere. You could have been at a church. You could have been at the movies. But you decided to be here with your brothers and your sisters. See, the thing about coming into the temple of Islam, when entering into the temple, the first thing you must remove out of your mind is the normal thinking of Islam, that which we believe in Orthodox religion. This is not a temple where ritual or spiritual unknown beliefs take place in.
Yes, sir.
You see, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam. So when you come into the temple, you are learning the reality of all things in nature, and you are learning more and more about yourself.
Yes, sir.
The black man and woman here in the wilderness of North America.
That's right.
You see, the question that we must ask ourselves is, what is Islam?
Good question.
Some of you may know that Islam is the religion of peace. Some of you could write a book. Some of you could write volumes of books of what Islam is all about.
That's right.
You see, but Islam, if you truly understand it, it is the very nature of the black man and the black woman.
Yes, sir.
The original people. You see, the people in which Allah has created, in which we come from Him, directly from Him.
Yes, sir.
You see, so you should appreciate Islam for what it is. It is exactly who you are. It's the very nature of who you are, which is none other than righteousness. When coming into a temple of Islam, you hear the believers greet one another with the greetings of peace, of Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir.
And we return the greetings of alaikum salam. And we come here with that spiritual thinking because for so long we have been taught self-hate.
That's
We have
right.
been taught to hate one another and our brothers and our sisters.
Yes, sir.
So we thank Messenger Elijah Muhammad for teaching us true brotherhood and true sisterhood so that we can adhere to that practice and demonstrate that practice throughout all of civilization.
Yes, sir.
You see, this is leadership. Leadership that we must learn to be accustomed to.
Yes, sir.
You know, there was a something on the news that I looked over, and it talks about the corruption of what's going on in the world. Even in lands in which we say is holy, the holy city of Mecca, or the land of Israel, or other countries and civilizations throughout the world. But when you learn the reality of what's going on in those places or in those civilizations, you will see that they have been deprived of divine guidance.
Yes, sir.
So why did Allah, who came here in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, you must ask yourself that, who is Allah?
Good question. Good question.
And we who follow the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we say that Allah is a man. We don't teach that Allah is a mystery God or a spirit. We don't teach that Allah is something that is beyond comprehension, that has no physical being. Allah is a physical being, but yet He is the supreme being.
Yes, sir.
You see. So when we talk about Allah, and when we talk about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have to recognize the purpose of his presence.
Yes, sir.
The messenger, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now we talk about the corruption that goes on in the world. We talk about these civilizations and how they war against each other.
Yes, sir.
But according to Scripture, Allah raised up one in the midst of the chosen people,
That's right.
you see, who is us, the black man and woman here in the wilderness of North America.
That's right.
We should value that.
Yes, sir.
Value the very fact that you and I are the chosen people of Allah.
Yes, sir.
But we should not be boastful about this,
That's right.
because we have a position that we must take for ourselves. We have a responsibility.
Yes, sir.
You see, where there is power, there is responsibility.
Yes, sir.
And Allah has raised up a messenger to teach us of ourselves so that we can dig deep inside ourselves and manifest that power so that we can be that leader
Yes, sir.
that was once prophesied by the prophets of old, in which we are living in the days of as of today.
Yes, sir. Teach.
You see.
That's right.
So we should be thankful to Allah for raising up a divine messenger. He is divine.
Yes, sir.
Everything he taught was holy and righteous.
That's right.
He was the first to teach these things. You see, he got our young brothers and sisters out of the streets. You see, some of you may know Malcolm X. Some of you may know Muhammad Ali. These men, without the messenger, they would have been nothing but the average man.
That's right.
But we thank the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad for his teachings and instilling that knowledge and wisdom into the minds of these leaders until they had such a great impact on a mass amount of people.
That's right.
So let's talk about Islam today.
Yes, sir. Teach.
You see, what we have here is an actual facts board. Anytime when you enter into the temple of Islam, and we claim that we are followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the first thing you should see is an actual facts board.
Yes, sir.
You see, this is very important. It's a few words on here, but these words have power, has value,
That's right.
it has a lot of wisdom. And just like the word of Islam, you could take this board and teach it and make a book out of it, or make volumes of books out of it.
That's right.
Because there's no limit to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
You see?
Yes, sir.
The question that is being asked is which one will survive the war of Armageddon? You see? Now, this war, some of you, when we think of war, we think of physical warfare. We think about military troops. We think about guns. We think about rifles. We think about the bloodshed.
Yes, sir.
You see?
That's right.
But there's more to that.
Mm-hmm.
You see? What type of war is God and the devil going over? You see?
Good question.
You ever heard of the old saying that, he sold his soul to the devil?
Yes, sir.
So what is the soul? The soul
Good
is simply the mind. So the war that we are adhering to is the war over the minds of the people.
Yes, sir.
You see? On my right side, and to your left side, you see this flag here, Christianity. You see the word Christianity, and underneath it you see slavery, suffering, and death.
Yes, sir.
So we talk about slavery, for instance. The physical shackles of slavery, you don't see. So what type of slavery is being practiced against our people?
Good question.
See, slavery nowadays is institutionalized.
Yes, sir.
You see? Institutionalized means that it is organized.
Yes, sir.
It is something that is that a man has to be educated in order to understand.
Yes, sir.
You see, it is blind to those who have no knowledge of this type of institution.
Yes, sir.
You see, it is a type of slavery that we who are subject to the devil, who is none other than the white man himself,
Yes, sir.
have been afflicted by.
Yes, sir.
Today we have mass incarceration.
That's
We
right.
have a lot of our people filling up the prisons
That's right.
industry. We have a lot of our people who are even enslaved in the mind.
That's right.
You see, you look at our music today. The music today doesn't sound like the music back in the or the hip hop back in the 80s or the late 70s, where you had your Rakims or your Public Enemies or your KRS-Ones.
Yes, sir.
You see, when you examine things with that approach, you will see the results. But like I mentioned in the earlier opening, we talked about getting to the root of the problem.
Yes, sir.
It talked about getting to the source and not solving the problem by an aspect of it. Some of you can blame the educational system, which is right. The
Yes, sir.
educational system does have something to do with it. There's white supremacy that exists in the educational system.
That's right.
You see?
Teach.
When you go to your schools, you learn about George Washington. You learn about Abraham Lincoln. You
That's
learn
right.
about all these white men who had slaves for themselves.
That's right.
Had your mothers and your fathers picking cotton.
That's
You
right.
see? Being a nigger to them. They didn't look at them anything more than they looked at a piece of wood or a piece of chair, because they were property. You see?
That's right.
So when we talk about slavery, you have to understand the concept and the construct of slavery. You see? People think that this word is too old-fashioned, it's played out. It don't mean anything.
Hmm.
Especially when you talk about your ancestral experience in the slave movement,
That's right.
when they were slaves. They say, get off that. It's 2015. And they will tell you that.
That's right.
You
That's
see?
what they say.
But they will go on and continue on to pay for the reparations of the Jews. And look who runs everything. Look who runs the media.
Mm-hmm.
Look who runs even our communities, the black communities.
That's right.
You drive into the black communities, none of the restaurants or the stores or the any type of business or any type of property that is in the black community belongs to the black people.
Yes, sir. That's
So why
right.
call it a black community?
That's right.
You see?
Hmm. Teach.
We have to ask these type of questions. We have to be people who ask questions. See, you're in the temple of Islam. This is a place where you carry yourself in an intelligent manner. Intelligent people ask questions.
Yes, sir.
You see, when you stop asking questions, you stop sounding intelligent. You think that you know everything. You're self-righteous.
That's right.
You see, and once you start thinking in that manner, that's when you fall. That's when you start to recognize your own shortcomings.
Yes, sir.
You see, that's self-destruction.
Yes, sir.
Again, which one will survive the war of Armageddon? The war we're talking about is the war between God and the devil.
Yes, sir.
And the war that we who follow the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad recognize is all forms of war.
Yes, sir.
The physical, the mental, and the spiritual.
That's right. Teach.
You see? And the devil has our people wrapped up in all three.
Yes, sir.
He has our brothers and sisters joining the armed forces.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And they don't join the armed forces because they care for the political system of America. They're against it themselves.
That's right.
They tired of all these gas prices. They always complaining, why do I have to pay all these gas prices? And then they rejoice over the fact that gas prices today is $1.97.
Yes, sir.
You see? So it's not their love for the political system. It's the love for the capital.
Yes, sir.
You see? I got to pay my bills. My children need clothes. I need a new car.
Yes, sir.
You see? They
Yes,
say
sir.
these things to themselves. So what is the means of attaining this capital so that they can get what they desire? These jobs, they're closing down, they're opening up, they get laid off. So what do? They join the military.
Yes, sir.
Because the military, all you have to do is have a diploma or a GED,
Uh-huh.
you see? Or if you're strong enough, they may let you slide, you see? But in the meantime, you're fighting a war. You're fighting a war. And most of our people are putting on those camouflage uniforms with those boots and those helmets, fighting a war that they have no knowledge of. So we have the physical warfare.
Yes, sir.
Now the mental warfare, I went over that a little earlier. When we talk about the television, we talk about the music, we talk about the videos and the movies that we watch. We even talk about the politics. We talk about integration. You see, integration never existed, believe it or not. There was no integration. You see, that was white civilization suppressing black civilization.
Yes, sir.
Now, in order for you to become successful in the eyes of the American, so-called American dream, you have to enter into their way of life.
That's right.
You get your degrees, your BSs, your MSs, your PhDs, and you join into their institutions and you help build up what they have.
Yes, sir.
You see, but you don't go back into your community because oftentimes when you get a degree at your university, the degree that you obtain is not designed to help uplift, which is what is necessary for your people.
That's right. Yes,
You
sir.
know? Some of you go to school and you get a degree and a type of science that is not relative to the social problems that afflict your people.
Yes, sir.
But it is relative to the resources that the European man or any other man that has his own may need, so they can use you.
That's right.
You see,
Come
so
on.
you have to think about these things. You have to ask questions. You have to know what's going on in this world.
Yes, sir.
Don't be afraid to pick up a book. Don't be afraid to watch the news. Some news is controlled. But then you may have to do research on what type of news to watch that gives you the truth. You see?
Yes,
But
sir.
once again, we thank you for being here. This is the Muhammad's Temple of Islam,
Yes, sir.
the temple in which we teach the truth.
Yes, sir.
Now
That's right.
let's talk about the opposite side of this board. On the opposite side, you have the nation's flag. This is an independent flag that belongs to us.
Yes, sir.
The sun, moon, and the star.
Yes, sir.
It's a universal flag. It is a flag that cannot be destroyed,
That's right.
you see. Because this flag here, the sun, moon, and the star, is a part of the creation of the universe.
Yes, sir. Come
You
on.
cannot destroy what Allah creates.
That's right.
You can destroy what is made.
Right.
You can take something of creation and denature it.
Yes, sir.
That means take of the nature of it and graft it into something that is other than original.
Come on. Teach.
Y'all ever seen whole wheat bread and white bread? See, what they did is they took from the nutrition of the whole bread
Mm-hmm.
and they grafted it out, and now you got the white bread.
That's right.
And the white bread, when you eat the white bread and you take it up and your system metabolizes it or breaks it down, you don't get the same type of nutrients and the carbohydrates and the sugar that is needed in order to sustain your body.
Yes, sir. Come on.
You see? So there's a lot of science to everything.
Yes, sir.
And that goes back to the point that I made when we say that Islam is simply mathematics.
Mathematics. Yes, sir.
Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam, and it can be proven at no limit of time.
That's right.
You see?
Yes, sir.
So study the teachings. Don't underestimate the teachings.
Yes, sir.
You see?
That's right.
Don't underestimate Messenger Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
And man, he had a third-grade education. And he taught the truth in its most simplest form.
Yes, sir. Simple and plain.
If you study science, you will learn that a lot of these scientists, although they sound so articulate, they sound so profound, their goal really is to simplify something that is of high understanding. You see?
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. So when you're listening to somebody teach a thing, don't get caught up into the theatrics. Don't get caught up into something that may attract you just because of how they say it. Pay attention to what they're saying.
Yes, sir.
Is what they're saying right, or is what they're saying wrong? That is the question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So back to this flag again. We have the nation's flag, and underneath it we have freedom, justice, and equality.
Yes, sir.
Free from what? If you notice, the opposite of slavery is freedom.
Yes, sir. Come on.
So we talked about slavery. We talked about the forms of slavery. We talked about how slavery can be institutionalized.
Yes, sir.
We talked about the slavery of the past, the physical slavery. We talked about the mental slavery and the spiritual one. See, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us this truth, a lot of us accepted this divine knowledge in different ways. Some of us accepted the knowledge, you see, but didn't understand the context of what he was saying, although what he said was simple and plain. So therefore, their spirit remained dormant. Their spirit wasn't in, their heart wasn't in it.
Yes, sir.
Because if your heart is in something, there is nothing that can cause you to transgress for what that in which you love.
That's right.
If you truly love your man, or if you truly love your woman, there is no one that can come between that love that can cause you to divide.
That's right.
or separated. Nothing. You see? So what caused these men to separate from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Good question.
Yeah, they had the knowledge. Some of them come up here and they speak so well.
Yes, sir.
Some of them sound so articulate.
Yes, sir.
Their personality was great. They attract a large audience, but what the problem was, their heart wasn't in it. You see? So we need freedom. We need justice and we need equality. We need knowledge, wisdom, and we need understanding. So we thank, once again, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad for presenting his teachings to us, because if it wasn't for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I bear witness to this. I wouldn't be half the man that I am today.
That's right. Yes, sir. All praises due to Allah.
All praises due to Allah.
Yes, sir.
We're living in the days of judgment. We're living in the days in which the devil is working so hard to keep you in place.
Yes, sir.
He's seeing to it that you remain asleep. That you remain blind, deaf, and dumb to the knowledge of yourself. He even went to the extreme of taking the messenger's names out of your textbooks.
Yes, sir.
When you go to school, how often do you hear the messenger's name being talked about? And this man was the most influential black man on the planet Earth. In fact, you have people who say, in Reader's Digest, he's the most powerful black man in America.
That's what they say.
You see? The most powerful black man in America. Because it wasn't just what he said, it's what he did for us.
Yes, sir. That's
He did
right.
what he did for us out of love. He was compassionate for his people.
Yes, sir. That's the truth.
When I listen to Brother Minister Basir speak on Messenger Elijah Muhammad, he speak of him with such great revere and such love for what he has done.
Yes, sir.
Because he was there to see it.
Yes.
That's right.
You see. And he today is still going strong in trying to free the minds of our people, still using the same teaching that was used 40 years ago. The teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Because he knows that this is the key to our success.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
That's
it
the
is.
truth.
This is the key that will open up all doors.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
You see. So, when we talk about Islam, once again, we're talking about peace, we're talking about freedom, we're talking about justice and equality.
Yes.
We should continue to exercise our way of thinking, exercise our mentality, and see to it that we, our nature, our very foundation,
That's right.
you see, is in accordance with the religion of peace, the reality.
Yes, sir.
The only reality that exists,
Yes, sir.
which is none other than Islam itself.
That's right.
Once again, this is not a ritual teaching. This is not a mystery teaching.
That's right.
This is a reality teaching.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a teaching to wake you up and to set you in heaven at once.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
that's true.
So, once again, you see, we want you to understand what it is that we're saying and to appreciate the very fact that we're doing this for our people.
Yes, sir.